think about my situation or my position in this. So like, cool, I've told you this is the woman that I love and I want to marry. You said you're not going to support me. Fair enough. You didn't contribute anything to the wedding. Fair enough. We went out of our ways to come to you in a whole other continent to introduce. You
100%.
slammed, you shut it down, said no. You didn't come to the wedding. Even just to show up, just to be there. Fair enough. Now I've had a child.
And all of a sudden.
So that tells me that I'm not enough to convince you.
Yeah.
But this child now is...
It's not a nice part.
Yeah,
I'm holding back right now. But yeah, it's not a nice part of the story. It was a very hard one to sort of navigate.
But this is kind of why we wanted to do the pod, because even when I first ever shared this experience, there were a lot of people that resonated with it. A lot of people from our culture, from like just our age group, people who have a lot of disconnect with their parents, people who have been pedestalized by their parents. All of these things make it so difficult for them to live their authentic realities. And I'm so glad that we did push through to get to where we are. Not only for the sake of our relationship, but for the sake of other people being able to see what's possible.
It's like a whole legacy.
Yeah. And that's because honestly, Lo and I, really and truly, as you guys have seen with Amalia's birth, we're actually quite private people. We don't actually like to put our business out there.
I thought it was because you posted about being a mother, and the comments were like, actually had a baby.
People were really surprised, because I'm not really one to announce and stuff. I'm just like, if you see, you see. Like, if you know me enough, then you'll know that, oh, this seems like a new baby. And you know. But yeah, so it's hard because I think Isaac is even like the ambassador. He's very much like championing the we need to talk. I'm very much like, I don't know how I feel about talking about this, just because I will break down. It does. It seems like
it's still quite fresh.
It is. Yes. Because even like mending the relationship, I'll tell you, like, Isaac's mum is sweet. Like, she is sweet. You know, Amalia's born, everyone's excited. We've had like naming ceremony online, like, but I didn't see it ever being this.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, is this for real?
At any point
like,
in time, is it gonna go back to where it was?
Are they gonna switch up? Like, what's happening?
But it's our reality. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. And I think a lot of people need to hear that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think you guys having Shiloh validated your relationship?
Maybe in their eyes, you know. Genuinely, if God would bless them with a child, then
and I think at that point we weren't sure. Yeah. But when we had Amalia, I was like, yep, that means Shiloh was that validation, because even Amalia, it's almost like, why would they be blessed with another one if this wasn't meant to be so soon after? They're healthy. It's crazy to say, but it's...
Can I honestly, like, maybe we'll add this bit to the pod, but like, think about my situation or my position in this. So like, cool, I've told you this is the woman that I love and I want to marry. You said you're not going to support me. Fair enough. You didn't contribute anything to the wedding. Fair enough. We went out of our ways to come to you in a whole other continent to introduce. You
100%.
slammed, you shut it down, said no. You didn't come to the wedding. Even just to show up, just to be there. Fair enough. Now I've had a child.
And all of a sudden.
So that tells me that I'm not enough to convince you.
Yeah.
But this child now is...
And it's funny because I remember us having that conversation as well. I remember saying, Isaac was like, my mum's very like when she doesn't want something, she doesn't want something. And I said, I think she can be tested depending on what the something is. And I remember he was like, but it's me. Like, this is me. You know, she could lose me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I promise you, give her something. I know it sounds so crazy, but give her something. I wouldn't say bigger because I can't say that because it's him. Do you see what I mean? But like, give her something different. And I promise you it could trigger a different reaction. And that's what Shiloh was. Do you see what I mean? And it's almost like it's the extension then, like having no access to the extension could make her feel this deeply. Because I think the extension, as opposed to Isaac, hasn't offended her.
There's a blank slate there. But there's nothing she can hold on to Shy and say, Shy did this to offend me. But with me, I could have...
And what would God think of her if she held that against Shiloh?
Because again, you got to look at these things. Like, remember when I met Lo, a lot of the things she was asking me couldn't stand up to scrutiny. I can't even scrutinize my mum. No one's asking her the questions needed for her to be able to do the self-reflection to say, okay, you're offended that he chose someone to marry. Why is that? Or why is it that you don't believe that this person is worthy of your son? Why is it that you feel like this mistake or this choice that she made in the past is something that makes her less than, if not better than? Like, no one's asking her these questions, or she's not faced with it and she doesn't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
But I guess even this chapter is still a difficult one to navigate. Obviously,
100%.
It still probably comes with its trials.
Yeah, boundaries.
I was on the table with you guys at the one on Toya's wedding.
Yeah.
But I was the only person who for the relationship or something.
But you couldn't imagine that that's what people in a relationship about to prep for a wedding are going through. And I remember, like, even the wedding.
My heart was breaking.
Like, imagine that the day before our wedding, Isaac was crying. Like, people feel like you guys look so good. It was so great. And it was, like, it was great to be surrounded in the way that we were. But in so many ways, it was like, I wouldn't say shameful, but like, even my mom. Imagine her.
They're asking her, where's his side of the family?
Everyone on our side of the family was asking, where's his side of the family? And she just had to be like, they couldn't make it. It's only because the timing, like, she had to say something
and
for my aunts and my uncles.
She's talking to you,
they're like, this
do you see what I mean? But they're not thinking about that.
And then for them to come rushing back, she's thinking, I've had to... with this.
Apologize. Come on now.
I promise you, this apology thing, this apology thing, even I spoke about it, innit?
Yeah.
I said, bro, I know parents don't apologize. I know. This was the hardest part for me, because after I was like, babe, I know parents don't apologize, especially African parents, especially Nigerian parents. I know. But you know when you apologize in a different way, how they technically apologize.
It's doing what they're meant to do. They
came back, and I remember they got like fruits and like provisions and stuff, and they brought that to my parents. They asked to see my dad and my mum.
Yeah.
And that was the first time they were meeting. Are you
after Shiloh's birth was the first time
That's the first time they're meeting. And my parents, my dad is such a diplomat. He was very much like, yeah, it's cool. My mum was like...
She didn't say a word.
My mum did not say a word.
She did not say
my mum was like,
word.
She had to deal with you and she had to take Isaac on.
Yeah.
Bro.
As a child, yeah.
When I told you, I was broken.
Yeah.
I'd be bawling in her arms.
She said, I'll be a mom to you.
Take me as your mum. I'm your mum. Don't worry.
I'm your mum. Don't worry, kind of thing. Like,
your story is actually like incredible.
It's peak.
You know, you guys are on the other side, but there's still be more to the story. No. That is insane. I don't know how long ago.
Even we don't know we did it.
We don't know. Listen, guys, I'm
keep on rolling.
I can imagine so many questions coming from people. Like, would you, if you were to go back, would you wait till, I don't know, your parents were old?
Yeah.
What is the condition for them?
Thank you.
That's the thing. Do you know what? Yeah. And that's not good enough. And it started to, it was peak. And it's funny because in a weird way, recently, and this is me being completely like authentic with you guys, but recently we had a back and forth and my mum had a few comments to make about Isaac and how he goes about certain things. And he was really hurt because it's like, you've taken me as a son and now you're giving comments. But technically, as a mum who takes you in as a son, she would have no filter, right? But looking back at this whole story, remember what I said? So one of the comments was with regards to the kids and how, the amount of say that my mom has as to how we go about raising the kids. Yeah. And we had a hard time because I told her, so what happened? She cut Shiloh's hair. So Shiloh had, you know when kids have like the afro part and then they have like fluff?
Yeah, like a little tuck.
So she had like fluff and her hair wasn't sitting straight. It wasn't like a well-rounded afro. So it had a bit of a Tintin type of... and one day Isaac goes to work, I go to work, we come back, she's cut.
I came back first, you were in Birmingham.
Yeah.
I said,
and he's like, what?
I couldn't even say it.
So he texted me. He said, bro, like, when you come back, speak. So I come back. I see she's cut Shiloh's hair. I'm about to have the hard conversation. So I have a conversation with her where
the position
I'm like...
that she's in, because I can't directly speak to mum.
Yeah.
Because if I'm disrespectful now, it looks
So
crazy.
I kind of tell her, Mom, you know, like, I appreciate the fact that you cut Shiloh's hair. I understand why you did it. It didn't look great. However, next time... Basically, I'm no longer just Kiara's mum.
Yeah.
And I know that with Kiara, you had more say because I was a single mum.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times, do you see what I mean? So you had a lot more say and there was more space for you. I'm now married and my husband leads my family. And as much as you've taken him in, he needs to lead the family. So if you're going to make a decision like cutting her hair,
you have to run it by us.
You have to run it by us.
Imagine saying that to a big African auntie. Run it by
I'm
me. I'm
even telling her, for you and I to keep our bond as mother and daughter, you know what? Sometimes I know you've made the decision. Act like you're running it by us. Do you see what I mean? This is me giving her pointers. Like Isaac will feel respected if you say, you know, I think it would be a great idea to cut the hair, because he respects you so much, he will say, yeah, let's just do it. Because, and this is why I'm tying it into his mom.
Yeah.
If his mom was to cut Shiloh's hair without asking us, can you imagine how we'd feel, mom? You'd be like, what? Yeah, exactly. So let's not give ammo. Let's not give ammo. But what I'm coming back to is, you can imagine she still lives with this hurt. This hurt that as we're talking, we're crying. She still feels that. And she's accepted for the sake of us and for the fact that she respects your parents. I'm going to let it go. But she hasn't really let it go. Because what she said to me is, how dare you compare me to Isaac's mom? She's not the one who's taken you here in. She's not the one who's housed you. She's not the one who was there for the wedding. She's not the one who paid for a lot of things behind the scenes. So my right to say something over Shiloh and her right to say something over Shiloh... Sorry, but it doesn't marry. And it's weird because I'm having the like eureka moment now. But when Isaac and I were talking about it a couple days ago, we were like, what the hell? Like, well, what does she mean? That's us now. But think about it.
I understand, but I think holistically, and if you want to use something to act as policy, you have to kind of step away from the individual circumstance and look at it holistically. Because if that's the case, then where do we draw the line?
No, I completely agree. I'm just saying that's why the hurt. That's why she said it like that. Because when she said it, she switched. I was like, what do you mean? Like, she's a mum, you're a mum. Like, yeah, but I'm now deeping that she's talking from the place of, bro, but I've been here for you guys. So it was almost her admitting to, if I've made a mistake in cutting Shiloh's hair, I can understand, but you cannot compare me. Like, my mistake will never be her mistake.
And do you know what's insane about this whole thing? I don't think my mum is even deeped that she's this much of a villain in everyone's story.
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't.
That someone was so offended to be even compared to you based on how you've acted and conducted yourself. And that's just how it's going to be, it seems.
But yeah.
Do you guys think, just a random question, do you guys think you could ever get to a place, would you ever get to a place where you like redo your wedding with your mom there?
Unlikely.
Really?
Do you know what? I think the opposite. I think 10 year anniversary, if she decides, like renewal vows, if she continues the way she has been and she's very much, are we renewing the vows? Like she's excited. I think we might just I think he's saying that now because he doesn't want the hopes. No, I think he's not trying to imagine it and then 10 years come and she's like, guys, I was just accepting the kids, but I don't care. Yeah, but you guys, I still don't care. Do you see what I mean?
You guys will face God on Judgment Day, but it's my grandchildren. Okay.
Yeah. Because I think ultimately that's what we think, right? That's what we think she's got to. We don't actually think she's accepted us.
They've not said anything. We've not had the conversation.
No.
I've even stuck it on. I've actually asked questions like, what is it that you're saying? Like, what's the actual issue? Why didn't you come to the wedding? It's what's under the bridge. It's fine. Let's move on.
Yeah. So I think, so Isaac almost feels like
this is so
it's the kids.
deep because think about it now. Let's say what Kiara's getting married or Shiloh's getting married or Marla's getting married. What they're gonna come and contribute to the wedding?
They will.
But do you see how that's gonna make me feel?
Yeah.
So you can do it for them.
Yeah, but not for you. Yeah.
It's like you're loving or accepting of the extension of me.
Yeah, but me, I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't enough.
Yeah.
But it's irrelevant.
Talking about the aftercare and the therapy after playing the game. So you guys have to live it.
Yeah, we do. We do. No, 100%.
I'm open to it.
We've said this.
Because it's deep what you're saying.
It is. Listen, I'm telling you, anyone who knows this much of what we've been through, I remember, who was it? Bissy. Bissy was like, why are you marrying him? As in, I love Isaac. This is his friend, though. What's it called? This is his friend.
Yeah.
But he was like, why? Yeah, we met through Biss, and Biss loves us both to bits. But he was like, I don't think you should go through this. Can you imagine?
Just because of the circumstances.
Yeah. Not because of me. He was like,
oh, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
When he introduced us, He
lot.
even like, I remember it was you and other prospects, and he was like, nah, don't go for them ones. This guy, he's legit. But then when he saw it getting serious, he was like, how are you navigating this whole deeper life? How are you doing this? And he was like, what? The mum said she's not on it. How are you doing this? I said,
Everybody always says it as hypotheticals.
Yeah.
This is a lifetime.
Yeah.
As in, like, even when Shiloh and have kids.
100%.
Yeah.
And they're great grandparents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These times you should see how excited Kiara is about Grandma Angel, Isaac's mom. Like,
I feel like we should record. What we're saying, are we still rolling? Yeah. There's an instance that comes to mind, where we took Shah to my parents, and so Shah was months, wasn't even up to a year at that point.
She was probably like 7 months.
Yeah, my parents, they spend 6 months in England and 6 months in Africa, or they travel, they do whatever they do. And Kiara, again, has now accepted me as her father. We've built such a bond over the years. And I've introduced her to all my family. My cousins love her, my sisters love her. My dad especially loves her. We get to the house, we pull up, we pull up to the house, open the door, Kiara jumps out, she goes to hug my dad. And then I go to open the door to get Shia, and he's like, oh, my first grandchild.
Yeah.
And Kiara's there, bro. Like, she's there, and she's just like...
Yeah, genuinely. Her face was like... And she is so,
it felt like a knife to my heart. Because I couldn't say anything in that moment.
Yeah. And she's so, like... she's not very expressive.
I saw her
like,
swallow it.
Yeah,
I saw her. She's just like...
She didn't say a word after that.
When we wanted to go and pick up Shy after, I was like, Kiara, do you want to come with me to go get your sister? She said, no, I have a headache. I don't want to go.
Yeah. Yep. And she never spoke about it. So we tried to like address it. She never spoke about it. Never.
So I gotta protect my children, man. It's like, it's more than me. It's not just me and how I feel. I can't let her be subjected to these situations or circumstances because she doesn't deserve that.
Yeah. And even that, you swallowed it. And then I think we mentioned it to your sister, as in his big sister.
They G-checked my parents quickly.
They were like, what? Like,
That
Kiara
one
is
they
the
apologized
first.
for.
Full stop. Like, there is no Shiloh first or
Yeah, no.
blah, blah, blah. And that one they apologized for. They were like, that's not what we meant. Obviously, in the moment, it just felt like, you know.
Like, I have these conversations, bro. Like, how does it feel like to have your own child, one child? I said, what do you mean?
I'm not going to mention names, but two of his friends, one I was privy to, and I was like, how, in my presence, how can they even ask that? They were like, how does it feel to have your own flesh and blood?
I was like, bro. You see
Your
what I mean?
own flesh and blood. And
they don't mean
answered,
anything by it. 'Cause I know the place that's coming from.
Yeah.
So I tried not to take active offense to it.
Yeah.
But I always, in those moments, immediately say, bro, that's my second youth that I already have. Yeah. Straight away.
And I guess when you guys were asking, like, how do we feel about talking about things? That's where the boundary is. Yeah. I think that's when the boundary was created. And I was like, I'm not talking about a timeline anymore. I don't want to talk about Kiara or how you came into her life. Not because I'm trying to deny the fact that you did, but like, it's just like, if we have accepted that this is our life, why can't you guys accept it? Like, why do you have to create that difference or make it very apparent?
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Because what's it for?
Like, do you see what I mean? But these times, if Kiara walked around calling you Isaac, everybody would be like, does she not respect you?
Do you see what I'm saying?
Like,
God bless you. Literally,
do you see
that.
What I mean? Like, so it's like, don't pick and choose when you want someone to actually be a dad, when the person's ready to be a dad. It's just weird. So when people ask, like, I know half the world doesn't even know that Kiara's not Isaac's. Like, people who don't know us, they just assume.
We moved to Dubai, though. You guys look alike. Like,
yes, they even start saying, Kiara looks like you. And I'm like...
Yeah, literally.
I'm like, do you see, when you actually don't really talk too much, well, people will build what they want to build. But I didn't want to give people ammunition before. I didn't want to give them the space. But I think, Isaac has grown me. So, so I talk about things because I guess there's someone out there who probably, is living something similar to me and who feels hopeless.
We have a really good friend.
Yeah.
A really good friend. And she's who I think about when we talk about these things publicly. Because she says that we give her so much hope that she will find
someone
partner
who will
accept her and accept her son. Sounds brilliant. Like, she's an excellent woman too.
She's an excellent person.
And I don't want her to feel like, and again, I don't like speaking about this. I prefer for her to speak about this because I'm not claiming to be some sort of unicorn that everyone should look for an Isaac. But there is someone out there that will wholeheartedly accept you and your son for the people that you are and will grow with you. Like, when I say Kiara is my firstborn, as in I've said this to Lo, I've said it to her recently. Like, when I die, my will, you get the portion of a firstborn. Like, there's no distinction between you at all. So, I think that exists. And I think the more we speak about it.
Do you know that she says that I truly think Isaac even prefers Kiara than the other.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, I'm not saying this like to make a difference, but like, I think there's just something, there's a bond that's different.
She told me to be a dad. You know how deep that is? Like, she, if not for her, I wouldn't be the man I am today. Like, she grew me. She's grown me. These past, 5 years, she's grown me. That she's made me the man I am. I wouldn't be as good of a father to Shai and Amalia if not for Kiara.
And like you said, you've spent more years in her life than out of her life.
Exactly.
It's actually crazy.
She can't remember before me.
No. Yeah. She can't. She's always like, when I was 3 years old.
Yeah. Telling you, I've changed nappies, I've done everything, clean vomit, done it all.
Yeah, he cleans the vomit. I don't like that. Sorry, I don't do that. I don't even care if it was my blood.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. If you've liked this, like, subscribe, comment.
What's one way you're going to show up differently for yourself or someone you love after today?
I don't think differently. I think I'm just always going to be protective of you, protective of our family, especially our little ones.
Yeah.
What they see, hear, feel is all dependent on how we are and how we behave.
Okay.
Like, I'm not showing up differently, showing up with the same vim.
I think for me, it's more like a reminder that I need to keep the people that I care for, you, our children, at the forefront of my mind when interacting with people. That it's not just about my experience in this space. How is this interaction affecting you and affecting them? And being cognizant of that and putting things in place to ensure that you're protected at all times.
So it's all about us and them.
Yeah, literally. All right. Thanks for joining us in an intense gist session.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, if you liked what you heard today, although it was hard for us to navigate, and like, subscribe, comment, I can say it again.
Thank you.